What weird thing did somebody tell you that they shouldn't have felt so comfortable telling you? Managed a restaurant and a man was there to service the building, HVAC or something. He seems anxious and starts rattling on about his girlfriend and then her brother and how sad brother fricked the cow. Immediately apologizes. I don't know why I said that. I probably shouldn't have told you that. Sorry. Accidental Hagrid. A friend of mine is absolutely like Hagrid. He just tells you this BS and stuff you should not and is later rather annoyed that he told them it. GS should be BS. Typo. Self-aware oversharer. Not very common. I think he saw my expression or just realized what he had said and we like oh frick. A strange coworker, whom I wasn't ever close with, decided to tell me at work, across the entire office, that she and her husband were having marital problems due to lack of X. He wanted more X, but since she wasn't trying to get pregnant, she didn't see the point and said he needed to get over it. This happened loudly, out of nowhere and with no prompting. What made it more uncomfortable was that she was her HR person. There's a nice little foothold right this way, said the bear trap. I knew it wasn't just me they speak to. My sister told me she was getting her tonsils out, so that she would give better head. I'm sitting in a hospital right now to get my tonsils taken out, but for different reasons. Wait, there are different reasons? Dildo deep throat cam shows. Come on, step bro. My tonsils are out. I have more room now. Dude pays me at work, then tells me he can't come. He can have an orgasm, but then needs to use a straw to get it all out. Poop knife too. Come straw. Yeah, I think I'm done with this thread now. What kind of place do you work? Gym. Just small talk while he did his membership renewal. Nothing to do with X. He has some nerve thing where he needs to get his nerve endings burned off to reduce the pain or something. In his arms or something. I guess this was somehow related to the same nerve issue. Membership done. Small talk done. I take his payment, then he hits me with that. Business partner of mine and boss that had just introduced himself to me. Nice team you've got here. We should all go on a trip to Thailand together. You can frick prostitutes without protection over there. They all have documents from their doctors showing that they're clean. Dude was also married, with 2 young daughters. What the actual frick? When I was in college I went to the study abroad office to inquire about a scholarship to study in Japan for a year. Instead I ended up in a room with a weirdo student worker who had just spent a year backpacking in SE Asia trying to talk me into going to Thailand, because prostitutes were so cheap and plentiful. I'm pretty sure he lost his virginity there. He told me all he knew about how to tell the regular massage places from the XC ones. He told me in great detail about his escapades and exactly how much it was for different calibers or girls. Also, I was 19 years old and a girl. Just thought this was a typical weirdo trying to bond with a bro. Also, I was 19 years old and a girl. Wait, what the frick? Those documents wouldn't be worth much if you're the 10th guy that day. I don't think those documents were worth much when the ink was still wet. I met a professional acquaintance at a friend's show one night. We knew each other vaguely, having met a couple of times, so we started having small talk. The guy obviously had gotten one too many beers, and felt it was a great time to tell me all about his dumb moves from his early adulthood, how his fiancée cheated on him with his best friend and how he became an alcoholic. Alright, definitely awkward, but manageable so far. It took a turn for the worse when he suddenly felt comfortable enough to describe, in details, how he and his friends had raped a teenage boy that was blackout drunk. The acquaintance and his friends were drunk and thought it would be fun to do that while the boy was literally unconscious and unresponsive. I noped the frick out of the conversation right after that and hope I'll never run into him again. When I was younger I hung out with a group of friends who drank a lot, but were harmless. I guess one guy thought, because we partied he could tell us about the time a girl fell asleep while having she's with him. He took offense so he finished on her face, peed in her shoes and stole all the alcohol from her house. We told him that's not what we were about and it was really awkward. I used to have this kind of racist hairdresser who'd tell me about life, her son, etc. Anyway, she tells me one day about how her son went to this party, and there was a gay guy there. Now everyone was making a big deal about this, and all the dudes were teasing each other about it, which is just honestly horrifying to me. That it's like a focal point of the party that there's a dude who is gay just minding his own business. But anyway, her son passes out drunk. All his friends there decide that what they're going to do is fill a condom with conditioner and put it in his asshole. So when he woke up he'd think the gay guy raped him, freaked him the frick out, And my hairdresser was like, yeah, he's still pretty messed up by it. I'm like, lady, your son was sexually assaulted by his friends. And she was just brushing it off. Like they didn't have sex with him. They weren't attracted to him. And I'm like, no, they spread his ass cheeks and forced an object into his rectum. He was sexually assaulted. And she looked really freaking surprised and started piecing together that this might be why her son is not okay. Like, oh, maybe that's not just a prank, huh? Those are some messed up friends. It sucks, man. Friends are so important in defining your self-identity and self-confidence. Pick the wrong friends when you're young and you can be fricked for life. Me? Sits down for my lunch break at work. Random coworker comes and sits down and says to me, so I've been watching cartoon Monster Peon. Sounds like they had you pegged from the moment you walked in. Pegged. Wrong genre. I always thought that was a good icebreaker. It's called hentai and it's art. My coworker went into great detail, including a hand-drawn diagram about how constipated she was after one of her C-sections. She said she was so uncomfortable that she asked her husband to try to dig some of the poo out of her butt with his finger. So, she put a towel down on the bed, laid on her side, and he got to work. After some successful digging, she rolled over and noticed the butter knife on the bedside table and asked what it was doing there, to which he responded, well, it was too hard for my fingers. We are nurses. She told this story at the desk to a group of at least 5 people. We were all mortified. Kind of related. In a previous job where I was in senior management, I had an employee come to me and ask to speak privately. He said he needed a few days off. He had just found out his son was being molested by a neighbor. He needed to be at home and deal with his son and the police, but didn't want anyone else to know, for obvious reasons. I told him to take the time off and that I would take care of things for him. I told scheduling and HR that he was to be given 3 days off, and the HR manager pestered me to know why. I told her I couldn't say, but it was a legit reason, and that's that. She was pissed, demanded I tell her, and even got the regional manager involved. I told him to drop it, that I was going into details. It was well within my power to make that decision, but the HR and regional managers were both cunts. They told me if I didn't tell them, there would be consequences for me. I told them clearly to drop it, that it was a sensitive subject, and the employee took me into his confidence. End of story. The employee wasn't one to take excessive time off, and he had sick and vacation time. So I told them there was no reason to make this an issue. The weird thing is, I didn't have a particularly good relationship with this employee. Not sure why he told me, as he was friends with another of the senior managers, who could have taken care of this for him. But I was known to be an employee-first manager, and I still am. I suppose he trusted me. Despite us having some differences, it was quite a heavy burden to take on, knowing what this guy was going though. But you don't always get to pick your battles. Sometimes you just have to fight them. I never did share the reason why I allowed the time off, even after several of the bosses cornered and pestered me. In the end, I was let go for others' reasons, standing up for another employee, but feel this incident contributed to it. Frick him. I would do it all over again. Right is right. You rock. Chatting with another mom at the park. Now we can chat about some pretty weird things, like discussing your kids' pooping habits would be a normal conversation. Even to some extent, discussing how things are going in the bedroom isn't that weird. But I've had some weird things other moms have confided to me. The one that stands out was a mom who confessed she was a closeted lesbian in a loveless marriage who has a huge crush on her teenage son's girlfriend. It got even weirder too. Oh God, sad face. Yeah, I think she was just looking for someone to unload all that baggage on. At some point I told her she really needed to see a therapist about this. I don't know if this qualifies, but some drunk girl said I would be a nice weekday-only boyfriend very casually, and that felt like a very backhanded compliment to drop on me so suddenly. What even is that? I don't know. I guess she was calling me boring? Years ago, I lived in Florida. My girlfriend, now wife, and I went to a Chili's one night to get some drinks with her coworkers. After they left, we went back inside to the bar for one more drink, because it was still early and we lived nearby. This older guy walks in and sits down a few stools away from us and immediately starts giving us some lighthearted about football, then notices my girlfriend typing something on her phone. Within 60 seconds of meeting us, he decided to drop this. Oh, you like looking things up on them phones, huh? Google my name. We Google his name and the first result is a news article that names him as the victim of an attempted murder-suicide by his wife. She shot him in the head, then shot herself in the head right after. She died. He didn't. Police came after a call of shots fired. They found him unconscious, but alive. Med flighted him to a hospital and he woke up later that day. And that was his icebreaker story. Floridians have no concept of ice, so they don't know how hard to go in order to break it. No ice? What's Florida man's drug of choice? Florida man strikes again. He can't be killed. Florida woman should have known that. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button and leave a comment which story you liked the most. Subscribe and hit the bell notification for updates on our latest videos. And don't forget to check the links in the description box for more awesome content.